Now, once upon a time in professional wrestling, it used to matter what the fans thought.
For example, all you parents out there with kids, when your kids misbehave, you give the New Day a call. The New Day comes over to your house, and we will fight your children.
Now, don't get me wrong. A lot of wrestling sucks, but when it's good, it's fucking great. Wrestling is melodrama. Wrestling is mythology. Wrestling is action. Wrestling is comic books. The only thing wrestling isn't is wrestling.
Who wants to take back professional wrestling?
Welcome everyone to episode 114 of Around the Ring. I am one of your hosts, your Floyd and Savior, Floyd Johnson. With me today is under the weather, but still here, still showing up to work like the soldier that he is, Dave Silky Brown. Well, today he'll be Dave Not So Silky Brown. How you doing, Dave?
Not so silky, that's for sure. I got the scratchy throat on, what was it, Friday, and I was just mainlining green tea, hot green tea all day. And then yesterday, full on, it just morphed. Colds with me always go through stages. I'll have like one symptom for a while, they'll move to another one, so it's all over the place. And of course, to make matters worse tonight, one of my favorite artists in the world has a show in Oklahoma City that I'm going to, and I'm going to be there under the weather. So thankfully, it is a non-smoking venue. Praise the Lord, because you know how I feel about the smoking.
Yeah, the smoking tears you up.
Yeah. Well, before we get into everything, do we want to talk about the awesomeness of our contest?
Yes. This morning, about 40 minutes ago, I recorded the video of me picking the hat. You see me put the names in the hat, shake it up, had a little mishap because, of my physiology. But then I shook it up again, put my name in the bag, pulled out a name, and that name is honestly probably our most loyal listener. If you're out there and you listen all the time, but you just never hit us up, I do apologize if this is incorrect. But this guy is active with us. He gives us topics. He gives us messages, all this stuff. And in the biggest coincidence possible, Ryan Aaron won the contest. He will be going VIP and con tickets to Oklamania with me and Old Silky here. I'm super ecstatic that we were able to do the contest. Again, the point of the contest is to get our name out there. So again, we're going to post the video on the site. Please share it to your page. Get it out there to the people that you know are wrestling fans, because it's a pretty pure wrestling show. So let the people that you know are wrestling fans, because like I said, I believe we have an audience. It's a long show, but it's a great show to listen to through the week when you don't have anything else to do. Congratulations to Ryan. Thank you to all that entered, all that liked, all that shared. Seriously, we don't do a lot of advertising, so you are the heartbeat of our show, and how we're going to get out there is word of mouth, telling people to listen. The great thing about our show, we don't get advantage of this in other places as much. We are completely interactive. You hit up us on Facebook, Twitter, Facebook or Twitter, and what am I missing there?
We have an email, but I'm pretty bad about actually checking that email account. So hitting us up on the Facebook and the Twitter.
You can give us your top 5. You can give us any type of subject you want to talk about, and we'll talk about it. That's the whole thing. We want to talk about what you want to hear. So that is a lot different than probably a lot of other podcasts out there, or more popular podcasts out there. But we will talk about whatever you want to talk about. I got our topics today, and top 5s today we're taken straight from my club, and that's what I want you to just know, that we are completely available. Again, we thank you all who entered. I am not announcing this today. I am honestly thinking of doing a giveaway to the Ring of Honor show that weekend of Survivor Series. I said that on the video. I talked about it on the video. I just want to see what kind of tickets we can get, and then we may do that. But we definitely about supporting independent wrestling. So definitely a shout out to Imperial Wrestling Revolution. I spoke with Jerry. I mean, I bought the tickets because, we want to support the show. That's we want to support IWR. So we didn't ask for any type of giveaways or anything. We want to support them as much as we can, physically, financially, any way we can. But, so be happy. Just know that your tickets are not like any type of comp thing. It is supporting the show. So just know that, and we love Imperial Wrestling Revolution. We had Chandler the Truth Hopkins on this week. We're going to try to get Cody Dixon on soon.
Yes, definitely. And speaking real quick of Imperial Wrestling Revolution, the team that Chandler is in, the Young Guns, are going to be facing off against the Steiner Brothers at IWR Sold Out for Life, which is at the SWASU Pioneer Cellular Center in Weatherford. And that is going on October 14th. That should be a lot of fun. Also, our good buddy Chandler announced that he will be making his Ring of Honor in-ring debut when they come to town. I want to say in a few months.
November 19th.
Yep.
Like I said, it's the day of Survivor Series. Is it at the Ring of Honor is at the Cox Convention Center, right?
I think so. But don't quote us on that.
Yeah, because like I said, that's why I was talking about. I need to see the seats, see how much they are and everything. But him and Coyote will be wrestling on the ROH card that night.
Yeah, that's going to be pretty cool, and that's a nice first step for them. Because I first saw Chandler when I saw him when IWR came to the Rose Rock Music Festival. He was one of those guys that stood out to me, and I thought, that guy is going to be in Ring of Honor. That guy's going to be in WWE someday. He's got the look. He's good in the ring, and it's surprising how good he is considering he hasn't done it for very long. So here it is. November 19th, 2017, Cox Convention Center, Oklahoma City. It's going to be Aero Club Leader versus Chandler the Truth Hopkins. So they're actually going to have a match in Ring of Honor. So that should be pretty cool. And that's actually I think that's a good idea, a good way to do it. It's probably going to be, I don't know if this is a pay-per-view or going to be filmed for TV, but this is going to be a dark match. And I think a lot of times Ring of Honor will bring in local talent for dark matches, see how they go. It's a good way to do a tryout. It's also a good way to fill out a card. Because right now, poor Ring of Honor has just been gutted in the last few years, and their roster is just not what it once was.
But they have the Bullet Club. That's a big thing. And that New Japan tie helps them a lot.
Yeah, that honestly is, and I love Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor is one of my favorite wrestling organizations out there right now. I don't get to watch it as much as I would like, but yeah, the whole New Japan thing is keeping them alive right now because as they keep losing talent, and they haven't done a great job of building up new talent in the last few years, or to some
actually they've done too good of a job.
Well, it's they have and they haven't. They have in the fact that they've gotten these guys who are fantastic, but it seems, at least from the outside, there's almost like, well, we're not going to push this person to the moon because they're going to get scooped up by WWE in a couple years anyway. So why was Donovan Dijak never world champion?
Because he was going. You talk to your people. It's a locker room scenario. You're gonna know who your people are. If you know Dijak's goal is to go to the WWE, and that's all he's talking about, why would you push him?
Well, here's why. Because even if you have someone for the shortest amount of time, you want to get the most out of them. So, for example, I actually thought of this. We're going through a thing at my job. We have one of our full-time positions is open, and they're including our branch manager. There are a total of 5 full-time employees in the branch that I work in. And we had interviews, and during the interview process, those of us who are just the regular staff would give the interviewees a tour of the building and talk to them. And there was at least one person that we were really blown away by. But honestly, she is way overqualified for the job. And one of the people, one of my coworkers said, "Look, she wouldn't be here very long. She's too good for this job." And my other coworker said, "I would rather have someone great for 2 years than someone who sucks for many years." And immediately when he said that, I thought of Ring of Honor. And it's like, yeah, okay. So, you've got guys like Lio Rush, you've got guys like Donovan Dijak, who are, and a few others, who are probably going to, have higher aspirations. Still, milk that cow while you've got it. Get everything you can out of them. And then you push them to the moon, and when it's time for them to go, you use them to put over the next new person. And that's what I think Ring of Honor has dropped the ball on. Because in a way, it's like you look at the landscape, and I think Cody, both of us, neither Floyd nor myself got to see the Ring of Honor pay-per-view that happened on Friday. But I think we can both agree Cody Rhodes is doing a really good job as their champion. But that having been said, probably the most over person in Ring of Honor is Dalton Castle. And they haven't put other than the 6-man tag belt, which is honestly kind of a meaningless belt at this point. They haven't put a strap on him, and I don't know I don't know why. I mean, it's possible he's just a guy who doesn't need a title, but at this point, he should be at the very least wrestling for winning the television title, and things like that. But especially since he just re-signed with them, so if he just re-signed with Ring of Honor, they should most certainly put the rocket on him and set him off. Because as amazing as he is, let's all be honest, there's part of us that would love to see Dalton Castle. I think all wrestling fans would pop so hard for Dalton Castle showing up in Full Sail at the NXT arena. And then we would all have that realization of, oh my God, what is Vince going to do with this guy? He will fuck it up so bad. So that's my thought. So if I was running them, if I had someone that I looked at and I went, you know what, this guy's awesome, this guy's a future potential WWE champion, I'm going to milk every single thing I can get out of this guy or this girl, because they do have women's wrestling too that they don't do enough with, and use them to make our brand better and to eventually put over the next new person.
I get what you're saying, and this is probably where I disagree. I don't think Donovan Dijak would have made that product too much better. Lio Rush, yes, and I really feel like they did push Lio Rush a lot. I think they did push Lio Rush. I mean, they didn't give him a belt, but they pushed him. I mean, he was featured on a lot of their pay-per-views. His rival, they had a nice little rivalry with Jay White. I think he was pushed. Donovan Dijak, no. And I can understand why, just because Ring of Honor is the world of the little guy. If you push a big guy, push him really hard, and then he goes away, it's like maybe he's not the championship material or whatever. Even Moose was there for years, and Moose never held the title.
He was pretty rough, though, at first. It took him a while before he really got good. And once he did, he should have had a belt.
They don't. I'm just saying, when is the last big guy to win a title in Ring of Honor, and hold it? They don't really do that. They pretty much, the Ring of Honor is one of the companies where it literally the best in-ring performer is usually the champion.
Yeah, except when it's Cody Rhodes, because he's good in the ring, but he's not that good in the ring.
I think he's amazing in the ring.
His psychology.
When you look at people, you watch the psychology and all that stuff, you're like, when you see their placement in the ring, I watch a lot of, watch wrestling in detail a lot. So when you see them not having to scoot into positions, always being in the right spot, being able to take people's moves, I think Cody Rhodes is one of the best in the world. It's just, is he flashy like AJ Styles? No. I mean, does he sell like KO? Or in this case, I mean Okada. Does he sell like Okada? No. Does he throw those super knees? Like, no. But he is consistently good in every match.
Okay, that's fair. But when I say he's not a great wrestler, I'm not insulting him. I'm saying he's very good. He's really good at what he does, but he's never going to be in the list of your, top 10 best wrestlers in the world. He's a great on psychology. He's great on the mic. He's a good performer. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to get any hate from Cody lovers out there.
Yeah, you have to say, you're talking to him.
I know, and I'm being fair. I like the guy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I would say, I mean, there is, unfortunately, there is stuff to be desired as far as his moveset's kind of boring. It is a very safe moveset. And he tends to overuse the springboard kick a little bit too much for me. I don't like people to use the same move like a lot. So he overuses that a bit to me, almost like Kenny Omega with his damn knee. But again, yeah, I can see he still wrestles his WWE style. He still wrestles that very safe, not a lot of moves actually on the head kind of style.
Yeah, I mean his in-ring style is really similar to The Miz.
Really WWE friendly.
Yeah.
I think, and that's the one thing I think my only problem is he has not taken advantage of being in the indies and, adding to his moveset.
Yeah, and maybe he's tried and he just doesn't like it. I don't know. But I mean, then again, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. If what he's doing is working, and obviously he's making money on the indies, because at some point a few months ago, some story came out that apparently he was making better money on the indies than he's been making than he was making in WWE. Which the fact that he just signed, from what you were telling me off air, he signed an exclusive stateside deal with Ring of Honor. I wonder how that's going to affect. I mean, obviously he can go over to England and work for whoever the fuck he wants, and Ring of Honor's got the New Japan CMLL deals, so he can do that stuff. But real quick, speaking of Ring of Honor, this might be a good time to talk about the whole Flow Slam debacle. Have you been keeping up with that at all?
Not at all.
Okay, so
you're educating me at the same time.
All right, so and I don't know all the major details, but Flow Slam. There was an Evolve pay-per-view this weekend, I think 2 of them, and Flow Slam decided to not show them and has sued WWN, claiming that WWN, which is the home of Evolve, Shine, and a few other promotions, but the big one is Evolve, that they were given misleading information about their viewers and whatnot. So Flow Slam is sued. They don't want to end the relationship with WWN, but they want they want to renegotiate. So Flow Slam is an over-the-top service that has had all of the WWN stuff and some other wrestling-related pay-per-views type of things. It's an over-the-top service like the WWE Network. Its biggest problem is it's $20 a month. When they were first putting this together, they reached out to Ring of Honor. I think they reached out to New Japan and CMLL and a bunch of places. And Ring of Honor, which was the big one they were looking for, turned them down.
Because they have their own IPTV.
Right. Right, and so I'm going to get back to that here in a second. So it's been going along, and I don't think that many people subscribe to Flow Slam. I'm sorry, $20 a month is not worth it at all. I mean, with WWN, I think you can get, if you subscribe to their service, which you can start doing again, I want to say is like somewhere between $6 to $10 a month. and you get like 5 promotions. Mostly you get the Evolve stuff, which is what most people want. So they have this lawsuit. The pay-per-view didn't go on FloSlam, and this is all hitting the fan. Well, this brings up the point that you've got Ring of Honor, who has this unbelievable wealth of a back catalog of footage, and they don't have any kind of over-the-top service. And I really, sometimes I wonder, what is Sinclair doing with this company? Other than, my guess is, I think Ring of Honor breaks even every year, and they are happy with just keeping it breaking even and keeping it on the books, and like, well, it's paying for itself for the most part. We're just gonna keep doing that. And Sinclair, the parent company of Ring of Honor, does not pump any new money into them. But can you imagine, what if Ring of Honor had an over-the-top service, a WWE Network type service, and let's say they charged, say, $7 a month, and it gave you access to their entire back catalog and all current pay-per-views? That would be a hell of a deal. I would sign up for that in a second. Especially if they could finagle it so you could get your weekly Ring of Honor shows on there, because the weekly Ring of Honor TV is a bitch to find. I would sign up for that. I think they're leaving money on the table. Now, I don't know the cost of starting something like that up or of maintaining it. So who knows? It might be way more expensive to do both than I can fathom. But to me, it seems like they're sitting on this gold mine of material and of potential customers, because they could advertise themselves like, hey, you like Seth Rollins? You like Daniel Bryan? You like Samoa Joe? Come see them before they were huge stars. Watch some of the best matches they ever had. Come over here. We're $7 a month.
I think Sinclair, personally, is going for the big dog, which is the WWE. Their WWE already has the system in place. They already have the servers to carry all the information. They already have a lot of access to the videos, I'm guessing. And they were in negotiations, from what I heard, to have Ring of Honor video on demand, and Ring of Honor video on demand, and to show Ring of Honor shows on the WWE. And if you think about what's going to be the most consistent, the best way to get money every month, it's going to be holding out for the WWE.
Yeah, but I mean, yes, you're right. But would you know? Okay, that segues into something else that happened this week. WWE sent out a survey,
and that's what I was doing. I was seeing you work together, sir.
We do.
I actually have the information. One of our club members, Ryan Schwimmer, actually posted all the questions.
Nice, yeah, because I got the survey and I filled it out. So it was So let's go through those questions if you have them in front of you, because this is fascinating.
They did it an interesting way. Okay, so everyone I believe has done a survey, and they have the extremely interested, very interested, moderately interested, somewhat interested, not all interested section. Everyone knows about that. You all probably got it at work about how good people are. Well, they added a different action to it, and I thought this was the smartest thing ever. They gave you $10, 10 imaginary dollars, and they made you assign dollars to each subject, because they wanted to basically see how important those things were to you. And I just thought that was ingenious, because a lot of people just put extremely interested, because we're all wrestling nerds. Okay, you're extremely interested. How much would you pay for it? That is where it matters. It is putting dollars on a subject. Is what, to me, that was just ingenious to me. Yeah. And I wanted to point that out.
Yeah. Now, did you get the survey?
I did get the survey. And
so did I.
The survey, and I put my dollar, I put my money where my mouth is. And I've said this before a long time ago, and I think I've said this on the show. WWE has been missing out on money. They talk about getting their amount of money per month up. A fan club with certain perks would be the easiest way to get another $20 a month out of a lot of people. And I thought they were missing out on money, much like you thought ROH was missing out on money. Well, this survey addresses some of that. So let's go. On the first page, it asks how you feel about the WWE is considering adding a new program into WWE Network as part of a premium price tier. So this will be, in addition, it will be a higher tier other than the $9.99. Listed below are some potential new programming ideas. Please let us know how interested you are in each of the ideas. So the top one is original scripted drama. Me and Dave, we've already took the survey, but we'll just go through each one and tell us how interested we are in each. It's a wrestling themed series inspired by wrestling colorful and rich history, such as WWE's version of Game of Thrones. So what did you put on this one?
Not interested at all.
I put moderately interested, as in I would give it a shot, but it's not something that would make me, get on the, pay a higher price. New reality shows, what did you put, sir?
Not interested at all.
I put not interested at all. Also, hate reality TV. House shows.
Interested. I think I put moderately.
Yeah, I put moderately interested. To me, it would have to be something special,
Right.
Because to me, house shows in general are boring.
Yeah, exactly. And what's the point of... at that point, they're not really even house shows anymore. They're all network shows. So... All right, what's the next one?
Ring of Honor.
Extremely interested.
I put extremely interested also. And I think they only put that on the list if it could happen. You know what I'm saying? Tournaments. New ring tournaments such as Pro-Am-style tournaments, WWE versus NXT, a Lucha tournament, a tag tournament, or King Queen of the Ring tournaments. What'd you put?
Extremely.
I put extremely on that. Special live events. This special one-time live events from unique locations around the world featuring an unexpected main event.
I think I put extremely.
I put moderately interested. Generally, I'd have to feel something's going to happen on those.
Well, I read that as something like Beast in the East.
Yeah, and which was a good show. WWE's Director's Cut. Shows that put a new twist on classic content. Basically, it's old shows with different commentary. What did you...
Not interested at all.
I put somewhat interested. I even put I could see myself watching that. I really tried to put myself, would I ever see myself kind of watching that kind of thing? So, hold on a second. I'm getting all of his list. He had to separate it out into a bunch of... Alright. Alright, TV 14 in-ring show. A new weekly version of ECW or other edgy new promotions. So it's basically using ECW as the subject. I don't think they're going to actually bring ECW back. What did you think?
I think I put moderately... so this was the part that made a lot of news. People were like, oh, they're bringing back ECW. And I think the idea of bringing back the brand ECW is terrible. You have a third brand that is fantastic. You have two other brands that suck balls. And you have a fourth semi kind of half brand that no one gives a fuck about. How about you make your other three brands, or two and a half brands, not suck, and make them like the one brand that is fantastic. So the idea of bringing back ECW, terrible. The idea of making the content edgier and taking the reins off a bit, I'm fine with. I think that's a good idea.
I have been very much on the side of they needed another brand. I think I was on the side of that they needed to make SmackDown or Raw a TV 14 product. That's always been my idea, that they should take one of their brands, and the way to differentiate Raw and SmackDown is to make Raw like more of a kid friendly or whatever, or and then make SmackDown TV 14. Adding a new brand that's edgier, unfortunately, I think you would have like most of your roster wanting to go to that brand. because Progress is considered wrestling for adults. That's what it's called. It's Progress Wrestling for adults. So yeah, I would be all about it. It would be all about them doing it. It's just how they would do it. I don't know if he would be interested if Paul Heyman were to run it pretty much uninterrupted, or Tommy Dreamer or someone else that has done, has run programs before. I would be all about it. It's just, to me, the execution in general, I put extremely interested, but it's all about the execution. I don't just want you to put a bunch of jabrones up there and they happen to be cussing and you think that's what it is. It was just the way The Rock and the Stone Cold and people like that weave the edgier material into some good storylines. I want edgier storylines.
Yes. I agree with. It's all in execution. It's all in what they do. And the idea of having Tommy Dreamer or Paul Heyman be the person who runs it. But, I mean, in your idea of making SmackDown an edgier thing, I think that's great. I wanted them to actually make SmackDown WCW. To completely rebrand it. I think they need to give new letters to each show, and that way it's not, the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. It's the WCW Women's Championship. And you could even, you could still call Raw WWE, or you could make Raw its own thing. Hell, you could make Raw WCW, SmackDown ECW, then you have NXT all under the WWE umbrella.
I completely agree. To me, if you're going to make Raw and SmackDown different brands, you really, really need to push the fact that they're different. Because it just seems like this is WWE wearing red, this is WWE wearing blue. So the other one was other promotions, historic and the new programming from ICW, Progress, New Japan Pro Wrestling, or other regional indie promotions. Extremely interested for me.
Yeah, same here.
Original scripted comedies. Comedies such as WWE Superstar Roast, Southpaw Regional Wrestling, or WWE's version of Office.
Oh, God. I think I put mostly not interested. I can't even remember the... It was toward the end of Please No, because the only thing out of that that's anything worth a shit is Southpaw Regional Wrestling, which is amazing. But I don't want them... I don't want them doing a whole bunch of, I don't want an office about wrestling. God, you can't get your regular show right. How about we work on making, Raw not suck and make me want to actually watch it? That would be a good idea.
See, that's the whole thing, is that you always go there. I tried to look at it as its own piece. I would probably watch it. So I put very interested. I would probably watch the comedies because I work late at night and I don't have a lot to do a lot of things.
There you go. Fair enough.
And then the audio channel, I just put no.
Yeah, I put no too.
Yeah, it's
what? Okay.
Nothing against audio. It's just not really something I would do.
Yeah, I mean that's them trying to jump into the podcast world, and it's like, why? You just don't. I mean, it's
because your podcasts are so WWE friendly. They're almost impossible to watch.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jesus, Sam Roberts, for example, he is so sucking Vince McMahon's dick so hard. He has to have someone on that I really want to hear the interview of in order for me to listen to his show, because I'm sick of hearing him gag on Vince McMahon's schlong.
I always play devil's advocate with Sam. Shout out to Sam. Get paid to talk about wrestling every day. Sometimes, if you to be WWE friendly, to get the amount of listeners you have to, you're gonna have to suck a little cock, and so he does, and it's boring. So I don't listen to it, but I'm not saying no one should listen to it. I imagine if Around the Ring blew up and WWE wanted to work with us and pay us a lot of money, yeah, we'd be sucking that cock too.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm not saying I'm not saying I blame the guy, man. Gobble that shit up.
Yeah, and you know what? Everything WWE will be right, and anyone that disagree with WWE will be wrong. Just like on the Sam Roberts show. I mean, I've heard him I've heard him flip some stuff to try to make it sound like, oh, it's really good. Well, it's putting on the show every week. It literally sounds like he was in a room with Vince and Vince explained to him why everything he ever thought was wrong.
Oh man! Speaking of, did you ever hear that bit of audio that was released? It was from during a commercial break, where it was Michael Cole responding to Vince McMahon, and you couldn't hear Vince, but you could hear Cole, and Cole was saying, "But we just said it like 5 times. Do we really have to say it again?" "Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. May I have another?" I mean, it was like he almost went, "Yes, massa." It was so bad. I was like, "Oh my god, can you stop?"
Yeah. Oh my God. Vince McMahon thinks we're all idiots. NXT. Listening to the commentary on NXT, and when I say this is a Triple H run product. Prince of Triple H is in the ear of Morrow and all of them. It seems way more natural. They say things once, and they may say it next segment, but they move on.
Exactly. That's why the commentary on that show, even with Percy Watson, who bless his heart, is not the commentator that the other two in that booth are, but even he is. I'll take him over JBL any day of the week and 5 times on Sunday.
Yeah, unfortunately for Percy, adding Morrow has just made it any more glaring. So you have Morrow, who's this professional announcer. I mean, Showtime, Showtime, CBS, everybody wants him. Then you have Nigel McGuinness, who transitioned very well into it, and it was one of the main voices of Ring of Honor. They have been doing this for years. Percy might have been practicing for years, but he's only been doing it for less than a year, and it is painfully obvious that he is the green one of that group. Yeah. And he may end up being as good as Corey Graves one day, but it's just not today.
Right. And one thing I will say, since Morrow's been on the show, he has done a really good job, and I don't know if he's been coached to this, but he stays quiet and he just adds things in periodically. He's never taking things over. Like one of the painful things about listening to JBL is how he would just muscle himself into conversations where it didn't fit. And Percy does, at least. He kind of knows when to jump in and to get excited about stuff and to talk, and he knows when to back off. But yeah, I mean, if it was, well, let's put it this way. I think if Steve Corino ever says to Triple H, "Hey, I want to do commentary," Percy's job is in trouble.
Yeah. TNA was the next subject. What did you put on this one?
Very interested.
I'll put very interested also.
And I loved how in it they were like TNA/Impact/GFW. Yeah. That cracked me up. Like, even WWE knows. No one knows what the fuck to call this thing.
Mm-hmm. All right, so now it's considering special features that may be available to WWE Network as a part of it. One was social sharing, ability to share playlists, clips, or favorites on social media. I basically do this already. I just kind of copy and paste the link or whatever. So I put not interested at all because I don't think it would change anything for me.
I think I put moderately interested.
Ratings comment systems. Rate shows or matches and comments or mark favorite moments. I put not interested at all.
I think I put moderately interested.
Yeah, because to me, this is stuff we already do just in the club. You know?
True.
Yeah, I don't. And generally, I don't care about a lot of other people's opinions because most wrestling fans online it seems like their goal is to be biggest assholes as possible. Alternate audio.
Yeah, not at all. I don't. This was something I was going to bring up earlier, and this will tie into a remembrance we're going to do later. If I have the desire to watch the 1992 Royal Rumble, I sure as fuck don't want to hear JBL and Stone Cold Steve Austin doing the commentary. I want to hear Bobby the Brain Heenan and Gorilla Monsoon, because I want to hear the commentary, for good, bad, or whatever that it was on the show. People actually reacting to the show as it happens. No, and now special things where, say, when Ric Flair did commentary over the 1992 Royal Rumble, doing a remembering, that's different. But just taking random ass shows and say, "Hey, I want to listen to, I want to see what Corey Graves thinks of the 1995 SummerSlam show." No, thank you. Fuck off.
I might do. I might do if it was Corey Graves, because he generally has interest in spins.
True.
But it would be very much who it is, and 90% of people, my answer would be no.
Yeah, and I thought Corey Graves was just the name that popped in my head. I didn't want to continue.
Just say the one name of the person that would actually listen to.
Yeah, actually, in fact, I was like, well, I need to stop burying JBL, so let me pick somebody else.
You know what? And this is not in any defense of JBL. I feel like what he did, it was crap. But now that you come later and find out that he didn't want to do it anymore, and that Vince kept, basically calling in a chit saying, hey, I need you to be on this show, I can see him kind of being an asshole to people.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to do this.
Yeah, that is very true.
Please.
Very, very true.
Set up a movie theater mode to watch virtually with friends or participate in a live event on Facebook where you can chat with other friends. Extremely interested, specifically for the club. Generally, like when WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series comes, I like to watch old shows, and it'd be cool to be able to just say, hey, anybody want to, a bunch of group of my friends, hey, we can just live, Facebook Live a video and all watch it together and comment on it.
Oh, yeah. See, I put not interested at all. That seems way too fucking complicated.
Yeah. Like I say, me and Ryan were doing that for a while. We would just pick old shows and watch it, and we'd start a chat and just post it. It'd just be cool to be able to just stream it live and be watching it at the same time and watching at the same part and just being able to watch it at that point.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, now as you've described how you would use that, I'm like, yeah, that would be kind of fun. But then a part of me is like, well, what's stopping someone from all going, hey guys, at 6 o'clock, let's all hit start on the 1992 Royal Rumble. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what we were doing. Just be cool to just be able to share it from the site. Ability to create custom playlists and change the look and feel of your WWE Network interface with options to represent your favorite WWE era and superstars. I put very interested.
I think I put moderately.
Because being customizable, I don't have a problem with. Download to go. Ability to download content and watch offline. Extremely interested is what I put.
I think I put interested.
Yeah, I put extremely interested just because I think that's a feature offered on a lot of things, and I've like always wondered why the WWE doesn't have that. Okay, and last, alternate viewing options. The ability to watch WWE ring shows using alternate camera choices, i.e. Gorilla Cam, Drone Cam, GoPro camera, 360 views are selected. Higher or lower resolution options. I put moderately interested.
I think I put not interested at all. But then again, now that I think about it, if that can get me away from the Kevin Dunn shaky cam, then maybe that is a good idea. Because, God, what he tells people, shake the camera. They're hitting, shake the camera. So fucking stop that. Gives me a damn headache.
All right, now we got to my favorite section. These are premium price tiers, special benefits. This is what I was talking about going into the WWE, basically like a fan club type of options. To me, again, I don't think it should be attached to the WWE Network. I feel like the fan club should be separate. But if the way they want to do it is to try to get more network subscribers and to get more money each month, I'm all for it. Any way to do this. Early access to live events. I put extremely interested.
I think I put moderately. I don't go to live events, so.
Yeah, it's a big thing. Early access to new merchandise. I put moderately interested.
I think I either put moderately or not.
Because I don't buy a lot of. I buy a lot of shirts. I have over 100 WWE shirts, but I buy it at my own time. I don't buy them as soon as they come out.
Right.
So that's why it's a big deal. I generally wait for it to be buy one, get one free, or buy one, get one for a penny, something like that, just because their shirts, to me, are overpriced. I think if all their shirts were $15, I think they would sell so many more shirts.
Oh, yeah, but then they wouldn't have the profit margin. And I'm not sure how much it costs them.
Profit margin by selling so many more shirts?
Yeah, hey man, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not saying that their logic or lack thereof is right. But
no, I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying it's just like I said, it's a discussion. It's like it doesn't stop me from buying shirts. But when they have their shirts are $25.99, and when they say buy one get one free, oh yeah, $12.50 for a shirt is way more reasonable than $25.99. And I can't tell you the last time I paid full price for a shirt. And so to me, if most people aren't buying full price shirts, hey, how about you just lower the price in general?
Yeah, no, that's a really good idea. I mean, how much on average? How much are shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees?
$20.99. Honestly, $20.99, and it's gender. I got 4X, so I have to pay $3.50 more. So I end up paying for the same price for what you would pay for a WWE shirt.
Yeah,
and they very rarely do discounts.
Yeah, well, at least with them, you're not just gloating some massive corporation that makes you angry. You're actually giving money straight to an independent company and to wrestlers.
And they're pressing the shirts as you buy them.
Yeah.
Big deal with them. This is not like the WWE has this bulk order of shirts. That's why I said they could charge a little less. Pro Wrestling Tees, they're literally pressing the shirt when you buy it, and then they send it out in 5 to 7 days.
Right.
That I could see paying a little bit more for.
And now you've bought Pro Wrestling Tees shirts and WWE shirts, so which shirts are higher quality?
They are pretty much the same quality.
Okay.
I mean, they have the same thickness. Actually, there was a person on our club that actually complained about the WWE shirts being too heavy. And all I can think is you can't blaze anybody because WWE makes a high-quality shirt. When you feel their shirts, they are thick. The lettering doesn't come off anymore. It used to be a big problem that you couldn't watch WWE shirts. And now it's a very high-quality shirt. And so I just wonder,
Yeah, see, that's good. I've only ever bought 2 pieces of clothing from WWE. I have an AJ Styles hat and I have a Sami Zayn hat, and they were both on sale for like $10 or something when I bought them. And they're both very good quality. They're a little small, so I don't wear them very often because they kind of give me a headache. But as I'm on my journey to losing weight, they are starting to fit better.
Oh. Remember, plug for WWE, $5 Fridays. Every Friday, they clearance products and small items go on sale for $5. I've gotten coffee cups a lot that way. It's that
nice.
$5. All right, so monthly Inside WWE Headquarters conference call. I put not at all interested.
Yeah, I think I put moderately. I mean, if that's like the conference call that Triple H does right before takeovers, anytime I've been able to listen to any of those are fascinating. But, I mean, if it was access to that, if I got to be on the same group call with, like, Meltzer and all those people, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But that's not what that would be. That would be some sanitized bullshit. So, yeah, I think moderately to not
all
interested.
The reasons WWE are awesome.
Yeah, no, that's okay.
All right, so loyalty programs. Get rewards such as T-shirts, collectibles, and ticket upgrades using loyalty points earned from the length of time you've been a WWE Network premium subscriber or your time spent viewing. Oh my God. Extremely interested.
Yeah, this one's right up Floyd's alley. This was, I think I put moderately interested because it's not something I would get a lot out of, but people I know would.
Yes.
So.
You know, like I said, 100 shirts. I don't know if most people have 100 shirts. I have 100 WWE licensed T-shirts.
You also have an addiction, sir. Thank
Thank
God that's not crack.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, I really would be like, can I retro this? Can you? Can I bring you all the orders I have and get my points?
I've got my receipts.
Yeah, I got my receipts. You got my order history, dude. I give you a lot of money. So yes, I would love a loyalty. I would love a loyalty program. I've been yelling for a loyalty program. Every survey that I get, I put, "Where's the freaking loyalty program?" I mean, I think like when you have, let's say you have the shirts that are $25.99. I think at all times, I'm talking about not a sale. If you buy 4 shirts, the 5th should be free.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely, all the time. You're not losing any money on that deal.
Yeah, no.
I've bought 5 shirts, so no. Oh my God. If you can hear my voice, you will hear the passion I have for a loyalty program. As someone that is WWE loyal, who has WWE tattooed on them, yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So real quick side, our good friend of the show, Steve, he has his own podcast. He's been asking me to put together a little bumper thing for him to play on the show for his. And I'm like, man, do I have to go back and like find sound clips? Because that's going to take a lot of time. But the one thing I think, if I could just get a clip of Floyd going, oh my God, that would be the perfect thing to put in there. Because that's like your thing. You always say, you get super excited. The way you say, oh my God, cracks me up. And that would have to be a bumper. If I was any kind of professional broadcaster, that would be in our ads. That would be in our intro. Everything. So I love the Floyd Johnson. Oh my God! So you just said that, and it made me think.
It's completely ripped from the man, the myth, the legend, Joey Styles. Preferred pricing. Extremely interested. Special offers for WWE VIP events and products such as meet and greet discounts and special offers on products from WWE sponsored. So, like I said, extremely interested. Again, right up my alley.
Yeah, I think I put moderately interested because that's one I'm not personally interested in, but I know a lot of people would benefit from.
I'm trying to get Dave to go to more than y'all. It's just better.
Dude, it's hard for me to get out.
It's just better. I mean, you can take an average Raw where it's like everyone's bored, and you just enjoy it more when you're there. It's just the way it is. Sweepstakes entries, I put not at all interested.
Yeah, I put not at all.
Yeah, I have never won a sweepstakes. I've entered my whole life, and I've never won one. So that makes I'd rather just be a product that I can buy. I am not lucky like Ryan Aaron.
Yes, I am not either.
Yeah, and then let's see, free shipping. Extremely interested on my. It's free shipping on WWE shop orders. I'm guessing yours was not at all interested?
Probably not at all interested.
Get breaking news first. Not at all interested.
Yeah. I mean, the freaking app already does that.
I was going to say, through the club, through ESPN, through Bleacher Report, through all the major people that hold breaking news things now, I mean, I don't need to know it first. I've never needed to know it first. As long as I know it, I'm good. So that was the survey, and then you had to take $10 and put it towards each thing. I don't know. Do you remember what you did?
I remember I put a lot of zeros, and so this was I thought the really fascinating part about the survey is for each section is like you have $10, you pick your things, and it has to add up to $10. Because there was one section I didn't care about any of them. I think I put $1 on like one thing. It was like, no, this has to add up to $10. I'm like, crap. But things like I think like on the one that had Ring of Honor, TNA, Progress, I think I put like Ring of Honor at $4. Progress at like 3, TNA at like 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and then I think I put tournaments at 1, and then 0 on everything else.
Yeah, and this I thought it was so cool because you had to do that. I had to make some tough choices, especially on what I would consider the loyalty or the fan club type stuff. I had to cut down because I'm so interested in all of the stuff, and then I was so not interested in everything. So I couldn't just put $10 on anything. I had to go 4, 4, 3. So it was spread out because I was interested in a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like on the let's just use the fan club option. I remember because this is probably the only one I remember That's the big part of it. It's like the early access to merchandise, live events. Like I put 4 on live events because I go to a lot of live events, and I put like 1 on new merchandise because it was almost I had to put 0, and then the loyalty thing I put 4 on, and then I only had 1 left, so I had to lower it to like 3, and it was interesting because you had to like, hey, because they're not going to charge you $50 a month. I mean, honestly, if it's $9.99, I'd see the max it go up to at $29.99. So what they're saying is, you know what? Hey, how much money are you actually willing to give us for these things?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, because I'm thinking, it makes sense. Like, if you look at the sections, if each section represents $10, right? So, and you're already at $9.99, they're saying, okay, if you're at this everything tier, you're going to be paying $40 a month. If you're at just the basic tier, it's $9.99. So, you put the dollar amounts in there, and it just makes sense to me. I just thought it was the most creative way I've seen. I'm pretty sure other surveys have probably done it before. It was the first survey I saw it on. So I just thought it was a very creative way to do it.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. Well, now that we've talked about all the pre-stuff, I think we should get into the weekly programming.
Yeah, we should.
All right. This is, honestly, if you've been listening last few weeks, this part's been pretty quick because, it's WWE programming right now. And if I didn't have, as Dave called it, an addiction, most of the time I probably wouldn't watch. Like starting this week, I'm not going to even watch Raw live. I'm gonna watch Monday Night Football, and then I'm gonna come back and watch Raw later.
Okay, so real quick before we get into Raw, I just saw this story. Speaking of football, so I get news alert, the Washington Post, and so I wanted to get your thoughts on this, seeing it's Sunday and all. So here is the headline: Trump demands NFL teams quote fire or suspend players or risk fan boycott. So. Here's the tweet from our fearless leader. If NFL fans refuse to go to games until players stop disrespecting our flag and country, you will see a change take place fast. Fire or suspend. NFL attendance and ratings are way down. Boring games, yes, but many stay away because they love our country. League should back U.S. So essentially he's saying that the NFL needs to fire or suspend players who take a knee during the national anthem, like Colin Kaepernick. Is that how you pronounce his name? Mm-hmm. And he still hasn't gotten hired by anyone, has he?
He is not.
He is not. So,
and let me say, personally, it has more to do with him not being a very good quarterback than it has to do with taking a knee. I think if Aaron Rodgers, and that's a name you may or may not know, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. If he was taking a knee, everybody still would have signed him because he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL.
Right. Well, and what about that guy who did the dog fighting thing? He got his job back.
Yeah, Michael Vick got his job back. Yes.
And that guy's a son of a bitch.
We
so
disagree on that, but okay.
It's making dogs fight. Come on.
Again, it's a cultural thing, and people don't like that answer. But it's true. When I was young, dogfighting was very much a part of my culture. Very much a recognized thing. It's something people did to feed their family. It's as I've gotten older and I've gotten more educated, I've learned how barbaric it was. But that could have easily been me, but. Because I didn't think about it, and I didn't think about it before. But if you're raised that it's okay,
fair enough. Good point.
But like I said, Michael Vick, he has become very much. He's a dog owner now. He's become he does the ASPCA. He does all that stuff as far as going to talk about how he didn't know better. He didn't know, it was just a part of the culture he grew up with, and he does a lot for advocacy for not dogfighting now.
Well, good. Never mind. I retract my statement. But the point is, he was a great player, and great players you can. Maybe beyond like murder and blatant rape.
I think Ray Lewis, one of the best middle linebackers in NFL history, was charged with murder, and he still kept his job.
Yeah.
He was acquitted, but he was charged.
So I think you're right. It probably has far more to do with the fact that Kaepernick isn't that great.
Yeah, it absolutely, than him taking a knee. Because there's a lot of players taking knees that are on NFL teams right now, and they're taking knees because they're good.
Yeah, so...
If you're barely hanging on to your job, you probably don't want to stick out too much. And Colin Kaepernick wasn't even, for most of the season last year for San Francisco, he wasn't the starting quarterback.
So, yeah, as far as the president's thoughts on this, what do you think?
First of all, I don't know the law. I don't know the Constitution. All I've seen is inserts on Facebook. From what I understand, he is actually breaking the Constitution and breaking the law by suggesting people get fired or suspended.
Yeah, he is absolutely. What he is suggesting... okay, so maybe not breaking the law, but... See, this is where it gets iffy. Okay, so if he is telling the owners... you are going to face federal crimes for not firing these people. That is beyond a shadow of a doubt against the law. If a company thinks that an employee's behavior is harming them, they do have the right to fire that person. But that having been said, the players also have the freedom of speech and right to take the knee. Personally, what I think, this is Trump pandering to a certain swath of the populace that gets all up in arms anytime you say anything that might have to do with a flag or the country, America. God forbid you imply anything about a gun or the flag or the Bible or anything, and they'll freaking cut you.
So what Donald Trump is pandering to his fan base. The reason Donald Trump, in my opinion, only my opinion, I don't know a lot about politics. I actually do know a lot about politics, but I don't want this show to become political. The reason he won the election is because he chose a side. And for so many years, politicians don't really choose a side. They do their best to stay in the middle to not offend any people that aren't any people that are in the middle might not vote for him. Donald Trump said, you know what? I don't care. If you weren't going to vote for me, you weren't going to vote for me anyway. I'm just going to say what I think to my fan base to get them to vote for me. And he is very much, he does not play politics. He has chosen a side, and he sticks to it. This thing is him just being who he is. That's him being who he is. He knows, I'm never going to get the athlete vote. I'm never going to get the black vote in general. So why would I pander any of my political statements to them?
Yeah, good point. Now granted, there are people who are of a certain persuasion that say that because of some things he has done working with people of the other party, that he is not picking a side, but a lot of those people are just live way too much in that bubble of politics, and most of them, I don't care which side they're on, are fucking crazy. You become, if you are an ultra political person and you get so involved in that, you're kind of nuts. I've been around enough of y'all. I've talked to enough of y'all. Hell, I have friends that are you guys. You guys are fucking crazy. I love y'all, but you're crazy. That having been said, I'm contemplating the idea of doing short, mini, micro podcasts called Hot Takes with Silky Dave, where I just rant about something for 5 minutes. So that may be coming in the future. But yeah, Go ahead.
My dad was a Marine. My uncle retired Air Force. I had several other uncles that were in military, federal agents. Every one of my siblings, other than me and my little sister, have been in the military. So, understand, I come from a military family, right?
Right.
They all say the same thing, right?
Yeah.
I fought for your right to do that.
Exactly.
And
they understand freedom of speech.
And I have friends that are very passionate that is disrespecting the flag. I have been at Thunder games in Section 300 where there are whole rows of people that don't stand just because they're eating nachos.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Or don't feel like it. Right?
Yeah.
And it means nothing. They don't hate the United States. They just want to finish their food.
Their overpriced food at that.
Yeah, they want to finish their overpriced food.
Yeah.
So I say to all these people that take a knee, before Colin Kaepernick did it in a public setting, was it that big of a fucking deal?
Exactly. I mean, there was a time that when I was in, high school, I was a junior, there was a time I didn't stand during the pledge. And I remember getting some weird looks, but I didn't care. It was just my thing. It was just like, nah, screw this.
Oh, I had my anti-America phase. I think I was a junior, sophomore in high school. Well, I would literally, when the flag was being pledged, I would just turn around. I would stand up and turn the other way.
Damn, we're getting all sorts of deep here on the Around the Ring, man.
And it's just like at different times, as a person, you do feel like you're part of the disenfranchised. You feel like you're part of the people that America doesn't look out for. But then I look at the bigger picture of what America stands for now. Not what America standed for in the past, because it's had a dark past, but what America stands for now. That I am on a wrestling podcast right now with my white friend Dave talking about wrestling, right?
And it's pretty awesome.
I've traveled to New Orleans, San Francisco, New York with my white friends, my Filipino friend, my Hispanic friend, right? My girlfriend is a Caucasian. The love of my life is a Caucasian. You know? I understand the fact, and I look at the bigger picture. It might not be getting better as fast as you want, but it has gotten a whole hell of a lot better.
Amen, sir, man. Dropping some truth and some knowledge here. Damn.
So I personally would not take a knee because the America I live in now, pretty fucking proud of. Not necessarily proud of my leader, but the people that I speak to and talk to every day. I work for a company. I don't say the company's name on purpose, but I work for a company where the CEO is white. But the guy, the guy right under him, the guy right under him, and the guy right under him are all people of color. There is no glass ceiling at my job. Don't ever feel like it's that way. So I'm saying this. Yeah. The world was a lot worse. I explained to my girlfriend, and this is the last point I'm going to make about it. If you were born in 1910 and then died in 1965, right? And I'm using these times for this specific reason. You saw World War I. You lived through a Great Depression. You lived through a mass genocide, then World War II. You heard or saw the bombs drop, that mass destruction, and you saw a president die. Right?
Right.
Like killed. Right? and a lot of civil rights and people attacked with dogs and water. You lived through a lot of crap. Don't pretend like the world just got bad. It's always been some bad going on. You know? Please don't pretend. We're going through our things now. We are going through our things now. But the only thing that is different in the world now and the world then is the internet and our 24/7 news cycle where we can see all the bad shit happening. 7.1 earthquakes in Mexico in 1950 in Oklahoma. We probably wouldn't know about it until like a month or two after it happened.
Yep. Man.
So it's just that we have access to it. So you're seeing the bodies, you're seeing the water, you're seeing all this stuff. That's what makes it seem so much worse. Oh my God, it's the greatest. No. Generations before us have went through some major shit where you in the South, you could get hung and nobody go to jail for it. Come on, seriously. The world, there has always been parts of the world that are awesome. There's always been parts of the world that suck. Deal with it.
Amen. Well, you know what? On that note, we should probably get into the shows because a certain listener who's going to be joining us at an event here in a few weeks gets a little testy when we get off course at the beginning of the show.
What? We have not mixed it up. We're about to start with our section now. So Ryan, shout out. I will actually make sure you know this. About an hour and 10 minutes into the show, if you just want to skip to the pure wrestling part, you can do that.
Which we're telling him at an hour and 10 minutes in.
No, that's I said. I'll actually message him.
Okay.
So Raw results, and like I said, we're going to kind of fly through this part because WWE programming in general is not very good. So this week we started off with the Intercontinental Champion in the ring, and the Miz does. He puts on an excellent promo. He calls out Kurt Angle. Tells him he's like, I'm going to be there for my kid, even though you weren't for your kid, you know, since you're barely getting to know him. It's hilarious. It's mistastic, if I want to use that word. And so he confronted Kurt Angle. So Kurt Angle says there is going to be a six-pack challenge. Actually, he said a fatal four-way to determine the Intercontinental Champion to face the Miz at No Mercy. Of course, Jason Jordan, the Hardy Boys, Elias Sampson. Whoa, you know, the undefeated Elias Sampson or whatever makes a name for himself. And then after a bunch of arguing, the Miz Taraj were added, so that's what made it a six-pack challenge. And that was the main event of the evening, which is cool because to me, IC Championship has not ever been a main event, but the fact is a number one contender shot for the IC Champion was good. We got Nia Jax. She wrestled Alexa Bliss, and it was basically a squash match. Alexa tried to leave. Sasha comes out and makes her fight her again, and Nia wins in the squash. And then, so we had Sasha try to jump Nia, started getting beat up. And in a return in San Jose, everybody's favorite wrestler, Bayley, returns home. And her, Alexa Bliss, and Sasha Banks attack and take out Nia Jax. Alexa Bliss looks like she's trying to be like friends with Bayley, and Sasha kicks her in the face. Bayley gives her Bayley to belly suplex, and that's how the segment ends. And in the idea that shocked no one, Bayley was added to the fatal five-way match for the title, which will be Alexa Bliss, Nia Jax, Emma, Bayley, and Sasha Banks for the title. Me personally, we'll do the review after this and then say Cesaro and Sheamus was in a triple threat match against Dean Ambrose, Seth Rollins, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. Cesaro and Sheamus have started using the 3D. They did it in this match. Only thing I don't like about them using the 3D is that they're using it as a setup move. If you're going to use the freaking 3D, it's your finisher. That's all.
What do they set it up for?
They just kind of do it as a move in the match.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't do that.
Yeah, so Bubba, Iman was like awesome. Bubba was like, no, of course, because Bubba doesn't want anybody to do anything that he's ever done, which, whatever, because he invented everything. Apollo Crews defeats Curtis Hawkins to hand him his 115th defeat. Blah. Roman Reigns delivers his Barton shot to John Cena, which was actually good because he got to stay on script, do his thing. It came off very natural, and you didn't have John Cena throwing him off by jumping off script. Again, I've said this before, and I feel like I want to say it one more time. If you're on script and somebody can jump off script, it's not fair.
Yeah, not at all. Not at all fair.
It's not fair. It is set up for John Cena to win every time. Because you've been practicing the script all day, and he throws some shit out of nowhere. People don't realize. And they're going to start. John Cena's a bit of a douche. You don't get that high in the WWE. You don't become the face of the WWE by being a nice guy. Period. Bray Wyatt defeats Dustin Rhodes. It was cool seeing Dustin just be Dustin. He was in his gold dust attire, just without face paint. I was like, if you're gonna be Dustin, be Dustin.
Yeah,
natural.
Why is he coming out as Dustin?
Because Bray Wyatt wants to face the man, not the person behind the paint. Dustin actually put on a good match, but Bray Wyatt won. Braun Strowman. Oh, this was awesome. This is, of course, they have decided to book someone right, and it's Braun Strowman. Enzo Amore is coming out for an interview, and I'm guessing to shit on Neville. And Braun Strowman just comes out and beats the shit out of him. And of course, since right now it's because the WWE has told you to, it's kind of popular to hate Enzo Amore. I don't, because he has sauce, muscles, mother in there. I love Enzo Amore. No one can change my mind on that guy. He could be mean to me personally, and I still wouldn't change my mind. I just love what he brings to the company. Not very good people. There's not a wealth of good people on the mic, and he's just amazing on it. So Braun Strowman attacks Enzo Amore. Neville comes out after, and he does this kind of thing where he's passing Braun Strowman, and he just kind of backs up and puts his hands up like, hey, don't beat me up too. And then he goes out and puts the red arrow on Enzo Amore. Then he wrestles Grand Metalik, and something happens during the match. Grand Metalik's mask rips, and it looks like he's about to see his face, but then, of course, Neville just wins with the submission move. So, six-pack challenge. Did you watch Raw?
I did not.
Did you read the results?
I did not.
All right. So, who did you think won the six-pack challenge?
Jason Jordan.
Oh my God! You are just like a psychic, because nothing is predictable on wrestling anymore.
Well, and to be fair, I've got the card for the Wikipedia page for No Mercy here in front of me. So
yeah, he wins with his horrible finisher, which is a backdrop into a neck breaker. Which, I mean, R-Truth's finisher is better than Jason Jordan's finisher.
What is R-Truth's finisher again?
It's like the truth detector. It's called the lie detector or whatever. He grabs you and just does like a falling front face, like a falling lock. The best way I can say it is, what movie am I thinking of? You remember Edge's old finisher where he basically do a reverse Russian leg sweep?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much that, but he jumps up and just brings your head down to the mat.
Oh, that's not bad.
It's not bad, and it's way better than Jason Jordan's finisher, which is horrible to me.
Oh yeah, Jason Jordan's finisher blows.
It blows, it sucks, and it's slow. It's so slow. It's like, I'm not saying every move has to be the RKO, but I feel like your move has to be sudden. So, let's take someone else that uses a finisher from a similar position. Cedric Alexander, right?
Right.
How quick can he pull off his move?
Oh my God. Like, almost instantly.
If you can't pull off your move like that, you probably shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. That's it for Raw. on to SmackDown. Oh, actually, not on the SmackDown. Let's do our No Mercy preview.
Yeah, so No Mercy is tonight, Raw branded pay-per-view. It is in Los Angeles at the Staples Center. And pre-show, we have Apollo Crews with Titus O'Neil taking on Elias. I'm not Samson anymore. I'm guessing Elias is going to win. I don't give a fuck either way. What do you think?
Elias. Yeah, we're going with Elias.
Then we have The Miz defending the Intercontinental Championship against Jason Jordan. He has the Miz Taraj in his corner. God bless you, Miz, for getting Bo Dallas on TV. I don't know. What do you think? It's
Jason Jordan.
Yeah, they're probably going to put on Jason Jordan, but I want them to keep it on The Miz.
Yeah, I think The Miz makes the belt mean something, but I think they really are pushing Jason Jordan right now. So if he doesn't win, it's going to be because of DQ or something, and it's going to lead to him getting another shot.
Yeah, in fact, if Jordan is going to win, I'd rather see them do it in the second match because, they're probably going to have 3 pay-per-view matches because that's how this goes.
See, and I'm a little different. I'd rather them do it as the main event of Raw, him win the title.
Yeah, you know what? Let's have it. He loses tonight. Tomorrow night he wins. But I don't care. I mean, I'd rather have The Miz keep it because The Miz is fantastic and makes that belt mean something. Jason Jordan, I still have a hard time caring about right now. I loved him in the tag team in American Alpha, even though I still think that name was stupid. This whole thing with him as Kurt Angle's son is dumb, but whatever. Deal with it.
I am on the Dave bandwagon. He needs to be branded. He needs new gear.
God, yes. Yeah. Next up, we have the Raw Women's Championship Fatal 5-Way. Alexa Bliss defending against Sasha Banks, Bayley, Nia Jax, and Emma. I think it's safe to say Emma is probably eating the pin in this match, no matter who wins. I don't know.
Alexa Bliss, so at that point she can say she beat everybody, and nobody is ready for Asuka debut tomorrow night.
That's the only thing that makes sense, because why would you put the belt on Nia to just have her destroyed by Asuka? Unless you're going to bring in Asuka, and Asuka is going to systematically go through the 6 people in that locker room before she destroys Nia Jax.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, it's... Yeah, so I like what you're saying. Though the rumor is that she's going to show up at TLC. But it would be funny if Bliss wins and just starts doing weeks of promos saying no one is ready for Alexa Bliss.
Yes.
And maybe even at TLC she does an open challenge, and then out comes Asuka. But then the problem is, you bring in Asuka, she wins the belt on the first night. I mean, other than destroying everyone, which that roster is so small, what is she going to do other than she's going to fight Alexa Bliss for 6 months? Then she's going to fight Nia Jax for 6 months. Then she's going to have a feud with Emma for 2 weeks because no one takes Emma seriously.
Asuka has to lose.
Eventually, but I don't think she's losing until anything like Mania, and I don't think she's losing to anyone other than Charlotte.
Come on. Does that make any sense? I mean, because think about it. Charlotte lost her streak on a B-level pay-per-view. Vince McMahon's going to kill her streak on a random Monday night.
Yeah, Vince doesn't. Yeah, I mean, and the problem with streaks is, and Goldberg had this problem in WCW. As soon as the streak was over, it lost something, and part of it was it was such a bad ending to the streak. I think that the interference was the right way to do it, but it looked so bad with that taser thing. It should have just been, because back then you could still do straight chair shots to the head. It should have been Scott Hall coming in and just smacking him across the face with a chair, and then him being hit with a power bomb, and boom, 1, 2, 3, done. So there has to be a shenanigans finish, because other than Nia Jax, I don't believe any of these women beating Asuka. Hell, I think there's maybe a handful of people in the entire roster I think would take Asuka in a fight. So Yeah, and by the entire roster, I mean men and women. She's that badass.
I like Asuka. Don't get me wrong. Asuka's tough. Like I said, the streak has to die fairly quickly for me. Otherwise, it will get very boring very quick. Yeah. I'm an NXT fan, so I've already watched her beat everybody for 2 years.
Yeah, and I mean they've
watched her beat Bayley. I've already watched her beat Nia Jax. I've already watched her beat Emma. Again, like these are all the people she just wrestled in NXT.
Yeah, these are not going to be fresh matches. None of them.
Yeah, none of them. And
they've almost painted themselves into a corner with this.
Yes, please believe she has to lose. And I would like to see her. Like I said, I would like to see her lose. Either Alexa and Nia get together to cheat and beat Asuka or whatever. But it has to be a way. I've always had it this way. I've always saw this would be the coolest way for it to happen. Alexa is fighting Asuka. She gets a title match at Meet, and all the rest of the women come out and beat up Asuka. Not because they like each other, but because you know what? We're all ready for Asuka.
Oh, that would be good. I could see that.
Again, great idea. Never will be used.
Hell no. No. All right, so next up we have Neville defending the Cruiserweight Championship against Enzo Amore. Since you've been keeping up with 205, you think Enzo's going to win?
The best thing for 205 Live will be for Enzo Amore to win. Because he is a very beatable champion, right?
Right.
So you will have a roster full of people trying to come after him. Of course, Neville will try to get his shot back or whatever. And as far as Enzo's a face, he's basically been booked at kind of like a heelish face. He will cheat. He will do anything he can to keep the title. So it would be like having a heelish champion, but he's still a face because he's all about the work smarter, not harder. For my friend Gleanne, I will call Neville as the winner because I think she just got her Cruiserweight title. And I think she might actually physically explode if Enzo Amore wins it.
Next up, we have Finn Balor taking on Bray Wyatt. The thing with this is it's Balor the man, not Balor the demon.
I think Balor goes over. Because they're trying to build up Balor the man. They're trying to make you care about Balor when he's not.
Yeah, the problem is, man, Bray Wyatt, he's the eater of pins is just... Oh, well, whatever. Tag Team Championship, Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins defending against Cesaro and Sheamus. This should be a great match.
This should be a great match, and you know what? I think they're still rolling on that Shield nostalgia. But people like to point out when you get a shirt, you usually win. And the bar they're finally called the Bar, and they actually have a shirt out that says the Bar on it. That came out Monday. I can't wait to buy it because I buy a lot of crap. Yeah. So I'm thinking the Bar pulls out the victory, and this feud continues.
All right. John Cena against Roman Reigns.
Roman.
Yeah.
I think he wins pretty decisively. They're going to put on an amazing match, but I think they're going to make it almost like an Undertaker thing where it just looks like John Cena's a little old and a little slow to beat Roman Reigns.
Which neither is the case, but whatever. Then we have the main event, and this one should be good. Brock Lesnar defending the Universal Championship against Braun Strowman.
It has been so decisively Braun Strowman. I mean, he has won every physical contest that they've had. Of course, Brock Lesnar's going to win.
Well, yeah, because they have their sights set on WrestleMania next year. I loved that when Brock gave Braun that German, and Braun just popped up from it.
Yeah,
that was so cool. Yeah, I'm actually really looking forward to this. So it's interesting. I look in this on paper. I'm like, this. There are really two things on this pay-per-view I'm really, really interested in: the tag team title match and the Universal title match. beyond that.
Cena and Reigns, man. People hate Cena, but I have said it on here. The last 3 years, I'd say 2, maybe 3 years, he's put on nothing but amazing matches.
Very true.
Anytime he's had another name in the ring, he puts on amazing matches. AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, fuck him and Sami Zayn did a good match. Him and Sami Zayn did a good match. He's had nothing but great matches. I'm expecting this match with Roman Reigns to be great.
Yeah, good call. Good call.
He's been working his ass off. So, it sucks that he waited 10 years to start doing it, but hey, he's been working his ass off.
Yeah. So that is No Mercy. And
will you be available for a follow-up tomorrow?
I should be, yeah.
Oh, I know you had a concert tonight. I just didn't know.
Yeah, it depends. We'll see. It depends on if I'm able to, because I'm not going to the gym today. I'm not going to the gym tomorrow. I feel like death. So when I get up tomorrow morning, if I can watch it and get through it all relatively quickly, then we can definitely record something in the morning.
Okay.
So that's the tentative plan, is that we will have Around the Ring Extra up on the feed tomorrow. And since we have moved homes, our primary home now is on our own space. Pay-per-view reviews are just going to be part of the regular feed. There's still going to be extras. But if you're someone that listens always through iTunes or Stitcher or anything like that, you're not going to have to wait an extra day for it to be on YouTube first. So we're just going to put them straight on the feed. That's where they're going to go. And So that's Raw, and let's move on to SmackDown.
Well, SmackDown. We're going to fly through SmackDown fairly quickly. Shane McMahon says he's going to take Kevin Owens to hell. So Kevin Owens versus Shane McMahon, Hell in a Cell. Everybody has seen that coming for like a month and a half. Randy Orton defeats Aiden English. Basically, Aiden English dominates the match, and then Randy Orton hits him with an RKO.
So you think they're trying to actually build up Aiden English? Or are they trying to do something with him?
I think they are. I think he's the company guy. He does what he's supposed to do, and they're trying to reward that.
Okay, well, good. They just need to have him stop singing, because that's got to...
I like him. I like it.
I liked him in the Vaudevillains. I really liked the villains.
Yeah. Rusev, apparently Simon Gotch was a dick, though, so unfortunately...
that's what I heard, yeah.
Rusev defeats Randy Orton. He comes out, says, I have to beat the legend, so I have to destroy you, Randy Orton. And he beats him really quickly. Like, he challenges him to a match. Randy Orton accepts. Aiden English distracts Randy Orton. Kick to the face, and he beats Randy Orton like within 10 seconds, just like Randy Orton beat him.
Okay.
WWE Champion Jinder Mahal comes out and does another racist thing on Shinsuke Nakamura. It's so bad, I'm not going to even talk about everything.
Okay, yeah, I heard there was controversy all over the regular news. That made the mainstream media
super racist. And again, I tell people it's funny because everybody has this really, really positive action of WWE. Like, oh man, WWE used to be great. That used to be commonplace in the WWE. Racism used to be commonplace. So, so there were some things that it's okay to change. Ty Dillinger, Baron Corbin came out to answer AJ Styles' open challenge. He attacks AJ Styles before the match. Then Ty Dillinger comes out and attacks Baron Corbin, and he chop blocks him to where he takes out his knee, and then of course, and then they don't really start the match. AJ puts him in a calf crusher and won't let go, so the match actually never happens. Fatal 4-way match to determine who will challenge the SmackDown's Women's Champion at the WWE Hell in a Cell. Well, early in the night, there was some foreshadowing. Charlotte comes out and says it feels good to lace up the boots. Her dad's okay, and she's come back. Now, again, WWE, I hate this because this is the only thing that pissed me off. Charlotte's been wrestling house shows, been posting on Instagram Twitter, all that stuff. She's been wrestling. And then she comes on and says it feels good to lace up the boots again. You never actually missed any time. I hate how they pretend like the live stuff and the TV stuff doesn't go together. All I've been seeing is Charlotte posting with Becky about their matches, and then, now we're supposed to believe she hasn't wrestled in months? Come on. That's just stupid. Do you disagree? Agree?
No, I agree wholeheartedly. I think the fact that house shows don't mean anything, especially when they turn around and have a title change at a house show a few months ago, that it's insulting our intelligence. And why? I mean, you're also hurting yourselves if you're going to have so many damn house shows, but then blatantly tell people house shows don't matter. Why do you expect people to go to freaking house shows? So
yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. Then so Charlotte wins that match. Her versus Natalya at Hell in a Cell. New Day defeats the Hype Bros. Hype Bros have like a backstage segment, and Mojo and Zach say, "This is crap. We got to do something different." So it's either going to leave one of them turning heel or both of them turning heel.
Interesting.
Kevin and Owens had a via satellite thing, and he basically said, "I love Vince McMahon, and it's just this is all Shane's fault because when I saw Vince's face, I saw Shane, and I basically beat him like I was beating Shane up, and Shane is basically not going to make it out of Hell in a Cell." Yeah, after that, it kind of turned into the traditional "I'm going to beat you up in the Hell in a Cell" type of thing. Dolph Ziggler did X's entrance, HBK's entrance. I think those are the only two. I am one of the few people that I know that's actually enjoying this Dolph Ziggler thing because I don't know where it's going. And if you know anything about me, I like shit that's unpredictable. And, yeah. And then the main event was Charlotte winning the Fatal 4-Way for the shot at Hell in a Cell. Again, there was some actually good parts of SmackDown, but again, another lackluster performance. I remember we used to spend basically an hour each show. I mean, hour per show. And it's like now we can fly through it in 15 minutes because nothing is happening. And unfortunately, so Monday Night Football and the new TV season starts this week, right?
Yes, I got to watch the first episode of Gotham this week.
So we're big TV fans. So it's just like, dude, make me not watch other TV, please. Because my Big Bang Theory, tomorrow, Big Bang Theory, Young Sheldon starts. This new series called Me, Myself, and I, which looks very entertaining. It's about a guy, and it shows his younger life and his older life. So 3 different characters are playing.
They better use, for the theme song of that show, they better use that old De La Soul song. That better be the theme.
So you have 3 different people playing the same character. I'm actually interested in that. I'm not going to get too much into TV talk, but I'm just saying, WWE, you're going to have to step your game up with TV season starting.
Agreed. So that takes us to NXT. You want me to talk about this one?
Yep.
Okay.
Take the lead, sir.
All right, so NXT opened with Johnny Gargano taking on Tino Sabatelli. For those of you who are like, who the fuck is this Tino Sabatelli guy? He was a football player. If you watched any of Breaking Ground, he was one of the big people they followed through Breaking Ground. It was interesting, he was kind of moving up the ranks in the NXT pre-TV thing, and then he was sent back down to the basic starting class. He is teaming with Riddick Moss, and they've been trying to start some shit with old Johnny Wrestling. The thing I think about this, Riddick Moss, even though he is built he's built like a brick shit house. He's just all swole. He just looks, and it's probably, bless his heart, his poor face, he looks like a jabron. Johnny Gargano won the match, but Tino Sabatelli took most of the offense. Tino looked pretty good. I mean, Tino Sabatelli is a rich MFer. He was like a number 2 draft pick in the NFL. He had an NFL career. He is now trying to become a wrestler. I'm not sure how much of a wrestling fan he was growing up. I don't know if he just sees this as a way to make money. He is in stupidly good shape. I mean, ridiculously ripped. So yeah, but he beat up Johnny Gargano for a while, and Johnny hit grabbed his fucking submission hold out of nowhere and won. Did you have any thoughts on Tino or this match?
No, I think he's better, but not good.
He's getting better. I mean, he's barely been on TV, and every time I've seen him, he's gotten better. So, but he's a WWE creation, and he screams of that. There was a William Regal office segment. I love these when they start off when he's talking to someone off camera, and he's in the middle of telling some crazy ass story that you just get a glimpse of. I those crack me up, but this was Roderick Strong came in, and Roderick Strong, if he wasn't such a good wrestler, he would never have gotten anywhere in wrestling because his delivery of lines sometimes is really stilted. Bless his heart. But he basically said...
His voice is really high for some reason.
It is. It really is. So he said he wants a shot at Drew McIntyre. He's done everything that's been asked of him, and William said, okay, fine, 2 weeks, you got Drew McIntyre title shot here on NXT TV, so we have that to look forward to. We had Lacey Evans taking on Bianca Belair, or Lacey Evans, otherwise known as the female Roman Reigns, because WWE wants you to love her. Belair got the win after she did a combo, her hair using her hair as a whip, which sounded so brutal. And then into her finisher is so cool. She basically puts someone into a powerbomb, falls backwards, and gives them a face plant. I mean, other than you get a face full of crotch on the way down, and that probably doesn't feel that good, it is a badass looking move. I think that's really cool. But Bianca Belair is fantastic. We talked great things about her from the Mae Young Classic, and that hair. Oh my God, it sounded like a whip. It was, and I love how they're not sure how to. They're like, is it a foreign object? It's like, no, it's your freaking hair. I can't imagine that is against the rules.
Can't imagine. Yeah, it's kind of her own special way to get around the rules.
Yep. We then had Aleister Black finally talked, did his first in-ring promo, came out in a suit. Okay, a couple things I think about Aleister Black. One, he has his entrance down. This guy screams superstar. Two, I really thought he would have had a thick accent, because I know he's from somewhere in the UK, and he sounded like just some dude from, middle America. I was like, where's his accent? And he got interrupted by, wait, who the fuck did he get interrupted by? Patrick Clark, the Velveteen Dream. And this was great. Just the ending to this was fantastic. So Velveteen Dream comes out and he's talking some smack, and then kind of getting up in Black's face. Black hits the Black Mass kick, but uses on Dream's hand to knock the mic out of the way. Falls into his crisscross applesauce sitting position, and Dream just jumps down on all fours and gets right up in his face. So homoerotic, and just they stare for a minute, and then he slowly slinks out of the ring. It was so freaking great. If I can find a picture of that, that's going to be the image for this week's episode.
Two people that have their characters down.
Oh my God. And it's amazing. I think Patrick Clark just was given this character 6 months ago or so.
Yeah.
That kid is great. Holy crap. This whole thing was fantastic. Did you have anything else to add to this?
Patrick Clark, love that guy. That was my big part, is that he has really gotten his character down. There's been a lot of flamboyant characters, and he seems to be on that level of them.
Agreed. Right. Yeah, he's taken all of the best aspects. It's like, and the fact that he's a wrestling nerd and loves this stuff, he's probably studied Adrian Adonis and Rick Martel and Goldust and probably even some Dalton Castle. And if he could find any Gorgeous George footage, if any exists, probably looked at some of that. So yeah, he's great. We then had No Way Jose taking on Lars Sullivan. The big thing I took away from this is I'm amazed they let Lars Sullivan use the diving headbutt. But I mean, if anyone could probably survive that without getting concussed over the years, it's going to be that dude. And then
I don't like him using it personally.
Yeah, I don't. Because that's one of those moves. I think the person who did that move better than anyone else, I think, was probably Chris Benoit. And looking at what ended up happening to him, it's probably a good idea for people to not use that move. But what was so impressive with him is people would be like over halfway across the ring, and he would fly through the air and to hit it. Daniel Bryan had a really good one. Dynamite had a great one. I actually think Harley Race, who invented the move, had one of the worst. I would put Lars's behind Harley Race, but this is not something he should be doing. And his finisher is a variation on a Uranagi, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I can't really tell what it is. It's just so barbaric. It's just like a slam.
Yeah, and it would suck balls to have to take. I do not want to take that move. We then had Tyler Bate and Trent Seven taking on Red Dragon in the main event. I guess Tyler Bate and Trent Seven are called Mustache Mountain. And there was some Mustache Mountain and Red Dragon chants. Red Dragon came out with Adam Cole. So this was a lot of fun. I think Trent probably needs to hit the gym a little bit. He's a little pudgy. Or maybe
it just looks horrible when it's almost like Tony Nese standing next to Drew Gulak. It's just it looks so much worse because the person you're next to is a physical freaking specimen.
Yeah, exactly. Now you watch Progress, so in Progress, Trent, Bate, and Dunn are a faction, correct?
Yeah, British Strong Style.
British Strong Style. Okay. Are they heels?
It's weird because Pete Dunne is a heel. Those two aren't really.
At some point, I think the three of them need to get together.
The only reason the three of them aren't getting together because right now the UK division is 4 people.
Yeah, good point.
So if he was like, oh, the UK division, well, now I have 3 of the 4 people in the UK division together.
Yeah, well, if that UK division just does, which we keep hearing, just gets basically becomes part of NXT, and the UK title becomes the de facto secondary NXT belt, then yeah, they need to form up basically in defense against the Undisputed Era, which I still think they should be called the Undisputed, and I still think the team should be called Red Dragon, but anywho, they seem to have a new finisher. They did hit Chasing the Dragon at one point, but
and that's what they should. Yeah, that looked so much better than their actual finisher.
Yeah, maybe it's going to be a situation where they have 2. Maybe they use a couple different ones. I hope, because Chasing the Dragon is such a great finisher. It was interesting when they hit that. Nigel did not call it Chasing the Dragon, so I almost wonder if he was told not to call it that. Or not to emphasize it because it wasn't going to be the finish of the match.
And he called it a kick into a suplex and not a brainbuster.
Right.
Yeah.
So they, at one point, I forget, was it Bate who was on the corner? I think it was Bate got pulled off the corner and Adam Cole hit a super kick, and then that's when Red Dragon hit their new finisher, which is almost in a way kind of like the Ascension's finisher. Sort of, kind of.
But it looks so much worse.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah, I don't know if they hadn't practiced it a lot, but it looks bad.
Yeah, they need to not use that again. And Red Dragon got the win. And then as they're standing in the ring, Drew McIntyre, and he hits the ring. They jump out and start backing out through the crowd. And when their sanity hits, and basically melee. So at this point, I'm thinking Sanity are now baby faces. So, which is fine. The crowd basically turned them babyface because they had such a great reaction when they won that title. This whole thing was great. The two best parts on the show were obviously the Black Patrick Clark Velveteen Dream segment and this main event segment. These were just excellent. I enjoyed the hell out of it.
I'm very excited for as we see more of them wrestling and how this group evolves.
Yeah, and you know what? We when I was watching as they were doing their entrance, Adam Cole did his traditional thing where he gets on the ring apron and he does his points to his head. The only thing he didn't do is the thumb that he points at himself. But I think he hasn't been using that in Ring of Honor as much. So yeah, I love Adam Cole, and I popped for that. I was like, yay, it's Adam Cole doing his Adam Cole things. I may have a bit of a man crush on him.
Yeah.
Maybe not as much as Steve Corino. Oh my God, and can you imagine had Corino been on commentary when Adam Cole hit that super kick, just him screaming Cole. And I did also love when the ring announcements were made and they said Adam Cole's name, the crowd yelled "Baby." That never gets old. So that was NXT. Did you have any other thoughts on NXT before we move on?
I have no thoughts. I'm looking forward to the next few weeks. It's one of those shows. I like it. I mean, it's an hour. I wish it was longer, just because I love it so much.
Okay. And since we're talking NXT, our top 5 this week deals with NXT. So why don't we go ahead and just do that right now? You want to?
Oh, yeah?
Okay, so our top 5 this week, top 5 NXT champions. Now, this is the main NXT championship, not top 5 people that have held belts in NXT. So I had to clarify that because my list was actually going to be drastically different had it been just people who had held belts in NXT. So do you have any honorable mentions?
I'm just going with one, Big E.
Nice one.
He was the second NXT champion. He actually won it from Seth Rollins. He debuted on the main roster with the NXT title before he lost it. So very much has lived up to any potential you might have had. It was a little slow at the beginning there. He was the Intercontinental Champion for a while, but since he hooked up with the New Day, he's lived up to all his potential.
Yeah, I remember when I started really watching wrestling again, Big E was the Intercontinental Champion at the time. And I think he lost it to Rusev, didn't he? No, not Rusev. I forget who it doesn't matter. In my list, I did not include in the running the first 3 NXT champions because I was not watching NXT at the time, and I have not gone back and really absorbed any of that stuff, so I did not include Seth Rollins, Big E, or Bo Dallas.
Yeah, because that was before it was on the network.
Yeah, so that was so my list does not include any of those, and I was just thinking of these people just in their NXT runs, not in other things they have done, because otherwise Big E would be on this list because I love Big E, and you would kind of have to put Seth Rollins on this list, but I didn't actually see him as NXT champion. So my honorable mention, and I only have one, is Shinsuke Nakamura.
Okay.
All right, who do you have at number 5?
Shinsuke Nakamura. He came from New Japan, and I didn't find his. I didn't find him winning the title to be all that amazing, but it was what NXT needed at the time. He was an international superstar, and he really did. He did elevate the title a little bit more.
Yeah, he did a good job. I didn't pick him because I thought he had some good stuff in the run, but I also thought just some of his in-ring work was kind of phoned in through a decent amount of it. My number 5, speaking of someone who a lot of people think phoned things in, but I enjoyed his run, is Bobby Roode.
See, he didn't make my list because of that.
I thought he was the perfect guy to come after Shinsuke Nakamura. And his entrance is great. I thought he had surprisingly good matches. For someone who had a reputation of being a boring, not so great worker, he had some surprisingly entertaining matches. So, who do you have at number 4?
Number 4. You know what? He signed my NXT belt, and he signed it first NXT champion. And I have went back and watched it, and it's just like, it's just like you saw what Triple H saw. Seth Rollins.
Very good. Very good. All right, my number 4 is Samoa Joe.
Jump.
Yeah, he was great. All right.
He's a great transitional champion from Finn Balor to Nakamura.
Holy crap, I actually forgot Finn Balor had been the champion. Shit, I might have to redo my list.
No, that's why he shouldn't be on the list if you forgot he was the champion.
Yeah, all right. So, who is your... What number are we on? We on 3?
3.
All right, who's your number 3?
Samoa Joe. And he was a great transitional champion between Finn Balor and Nakamura. They didn't want Nakamura to beat Finn Balor, as Finn Balor was going to the main roster. So they needed a monster heel. He's one of the few people to have beaten Finn Balor and Nakamura in NXT.
He is. All right. So my number 3 is Kevin Owens. I think he was just a fantastic champion. And yeah, there's not a whole lot to say about Kevin Owens' run in NXT other than awesome.
My number 2 was, I call it the NXT WWE Network champion because they needed a face to really build the brand, and I think his face actually built the brand. It started the brand build. Adrian Neville.
You will see him later on my list. So that we're on number 2, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my number 2 is Sami Zayn. And
Sami Zayn.
And that
he did not.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go for it. He didn't make my list because he was the champion for 12 days.
Right, and for me, it was all about the build-up, and the moment of him winning. That is one of my favorite matches of all time. That was one of the just coolest things I've ever seen. I love that match. So yeah. So I wonder who your number 1 is. I can venture a guess.
One of the only other people to sign my NXT belt, and I had him sign it best NXT champion. His name is Kevin Owens. 1 month after winning the NXT title, after debuting in NXT, he beats his best friend, or 2 months to the day after he debuted, he beats his best friend for the title, and he beats him by KO. The only reason his title reign, he was expected to have a nice long title reign, because no one, most people didn't think that Vince would want him on the main roster. The only reason his title reign was ended because John Cena basically called Kevin Owens up. He saw Kevin Owens and he said, we should do some stuff together. So, as much as I hate John Cena, saying him being the reason for Kevin Owens, I can dig it.
Yeah. And my number 1 is Adrian Neville. I think he was the one who really, more than anyone else, set the standard for what being an NXT champion should be. Finn Balor held the belt longer, but he had such a great reign, and that was when NXT was really coming up and really getting buzz, because there was that fatal 4-way match with him, Sami Zayn, Tyler Breeze, and Tyson Kidd. That is just unbelievable. All his matches with Tyson Kidd were outstanding. That final match with Sami Zayn was incredible, and it just pisses me off to no end the way they just screwed the pooch with him in the main roster. Though they've done him better on 205 Live, making him such a dominant champion. He's one of the best workers in the world. So, number 1, Adrian Neville.
Adrian Neville. Yeah. Kevin Owens' favorite worker, thinks he's the best wrestler in the world, because the thing about Adrian Neville is all he cares about is his in-ring product. I'm not going to go too far into 205 Live, but there was this in-ring segment with Neville and Enzo this week, and it was pretty brilliant, because Enzo basically said what he is. I talk, I do this, and he said, that's why you're jealous of me, because I got merchandise sales, I have fans, blah, blah, blah. He's like, I am over on this mic, right? And then Adrian Neville, who is not known for being a very pretty promo guy, cuts one of the better promos, and he's like, the thing is, do you think I care about, he's like, do you think I care about merchandise sales? Do you think I care about promos or anything like this? All I care about is being in the best in this ring. And he's like, and on Sunday, the problem is you can't fight. And it was just like, it was how he said it with the vitriol that he's like, you have no chance because you can't fight. And it was a pretty good promo segment. If you do have a moment, it's probably the last 10 minutes of 205 Live, and I just thought it was an excellent segment. To me, it felt like what John Cena and Roman Reigns should have been, because they both just said their best, and it was funny. And Enzo's like, well, this Sunday, you know what? I am going to have a problem, and I'm not going to be able to do this, and he just kicks Neville right in the nuts.
See,
that's how 205 Live is.
I think I'm going to make time in the week to watch 205 Live, because as much as I've pooped on it, and it has nothing to do with the talent, just the way it's been positioned, it's really the only product in WWE outside of NXT that interests me at all. So I'm gonna be checking that out.
And the feud with Jack Gallagher and Cedric Alexander really got underway this week, because Jack Gallagher jumped Cedric Alexander again.
Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna go back and watch that. I'm gonna give that a go. Well, we do have some remembering to do. One last thing before we get out of here. A few hours after we recorded our show last weekend, news broke that one of the greatest performers in professional wrestling history, the greatest manager of all time, one of the greatest color commentators, and as other people have said, probably within the conversation for top 10, if not top 5 greatest overall performer of all time, passed away, and that was Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Oh my God. Bobby the Brain Heenan is as much a recognizable and as much a part of my life as a wrestling fan, especially as a child, as anyone. I put him Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair level of people, of personality. I mean, a lot of the times with the heels that were going up against Hulk Hogan, they wouldn't talk. It would just be Hogan versus Bobby the Brain's promos. Then he was an announcer. He was on the Tuesday Titans. He had the Bobby Heenan show. He was very just like this quick-witted human being. And the thing about wrestling, right? You'll have a person that hates Paul Heyman, right?
Mm-hmm.
A person that hates Vince McMahon, right?
Right.
You never hear anyone say anything bad about Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yeah, I have not heard anyone say anything bad. I mean,
yeah. That is a person that was not only a great performer, he was a great person.
Yeah, I've never heard anything bad about him. And one thing, as I was listening to various shows this week, I did hear one of the Voices of Wrestling guys talking about how that he thought Hulk Hogan's greatest foil, his truly greatest opponent, especially in those early WWF days, was really Bobby the Brain Heenan. And if you go back and you think about who Hogan feuded with, going probably right after WrestleMania, well, even WrestleMania 1, I mean, you got you had your Orndorff and King Kong Bundy, Andre the Giant. I mean, for the most part, these were all Bobby Heenan guys. And yeah, he was just incredible. But that then gets to the thing that some people see as controversial. When he was an announcer in WCW at that fateful Bash at the Beach, and Hulk Hogan came out during the match with the Outsiders against Sting and Luger and Macho Man, and he came out, and Bobby Heenan said, "Well, which side is he on?" And apparently it's been scrubbed from the WWE network. That has been, apparently that pissed off Bischoff, and the whole time people were just, oh my God, he spoiled it. And I'm thinking to myself, if you know the history of Bobby Heenan and Hulk Hogan, it absolutely 1000% makes sense that Bobby Heenan is going to be suspicious of Hulk Hogan's motives, because he's the guy for over a decade that's been telling us Hulk Hogan is bullshit. Hulk Hogan doesn't believe this crap he says. He's a cheater, he's greedy, and he's not about, saying your prayers and eating your vitamins. So of course, he's going to be the one that's going to go, wait a minute, whose side is he really on? And so it kills me that people really actually have arguments about this and get up in arms about it. And I remember watching that, or watching the replays, because I didn't see the pay-per-view live, and I never for a second had a problem with him saying that. It fit Bobby Heenan, it fit the situation. And yeah, you can honestly say that hardly anyone in all of wrestling was ever as quick-witted as Bobby Heenan. Some of the stuff he said would have gotten him, fired and blacklisted today, but it was a different time, and he was a talent that had things gone a slightly different direction. I could see him. He could have been like a David Letterman or a Jay Leno, or a late night talk show host kind of thing.
Yeah.
He was that good.
He could have put Carson out of business just because of how he was, but he just loved wrestling so much. He loved his family, and it's just one of those people that, like I said, wrestling is a very fickle business. People make money off of shoot interviews, so they love to run down anybody they can and say anything they want against anybody. Either Bobby Heenan had the most dirt ever to where no one wanted to challenge him, or he was the nicest guy ever. And I'm likely to believe he was the nicest guy.
Yeah, exactly. I
nobody had anything to say about him. And you know what? Jimmy, that heel persona, and it was how they say a great angle is your personality turned all the way up. In this case, it was the opposite of who he was as a person. His goal was just to make wrestling as good as possible.
Right, and he was always about putting other people over.
Yeah,
it was never about him. It was, let's get this match over, let's get this guy over, let's sell tickets. So yeah, it was he was one of the greatest of all time.
He was Hulk Hogan's perfect foil. You needed someone. He didn't matter. He just kept bringing in big guys and bringing in big guys. And a lot of these big guys, they were decent workers, but they couldn't talk. And you just gave them the brain.
Yeah, but then the funny thing is they would also put him with some of the greatest talkers ever. Rick Rude.
In the AWA, Nick Bockwinkel.
Right. Him in the AWA. He was, Rude's manager. He was Rick Rude, not Bobby. He was the Brainbusters manager, so Arn Anderson. So he had Kurt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. He had some amazing talkers that he worked with, and it just worked beautifully.
How he put over Mr. Perfect. Oh my God. You thought he was God's gift. You thought he was the second coming. And Kurt Hennig, in the ring, he was that good. And it was just like, hey, I'm going to talk you up. All I need you to do is back it up with your in-ring performance. Paul Orndorff, Rick Rude, and Kurt Hennig all lived up to it. Funny thing, none of them ever had a feud with Hulk Hogan. The best wrestler he had never had a feud with Hulk Hogan.
Oh, no, because you think Hulk Hogan in a million years is going to, okay, yeah, sure, I'll have a match with Rick Rude. That'll end well. No, sir. No, it won't.
Yeah. Hogan slowed down the business quite a bit. I love Hulk Hogan, but he slowed down the business because he wouldn't give up that belt for so long, and it was just like there was a lot of feuds back in the day, Hogan Rude, Hogan Kurt Hennig, that you really, really wanted to see, but you never got to see.
Oh yeah, no, and it would have been interesting to see how Hogan and Perfect would have been in the ring, because Kurt Hennig is such an incredible worker, and Hogan, in a lot of ways, like John Cena, could put on good matches, and every time he put on a good match, you knew he was going to lose. And I remember as a kid recognizing that. For a perfect example, his match with Ultimate Warrior. Arguably the best match of his career. It was so good, and Vince apparently had them go through that thing hundreds of times. But he lost. His matches against Arn Anderson in WCW, he lost, and they were excellent matches. So if you were watching a Hulk Hogan match and it was good, you were like, okay, he's about to lay down, which was then that match against Sting at Starrcade. The first half, before the botched fall, was really not good, and it made you go, oh shit, he's going to win. And then he kind of won, and then didn't win, and then the second half of the match was actually good. So, yeah, it was fascinating with Hulk Hogan.
Speaking of Double A, he had a birthday this week. Arn Anderson turned 58, or did I put 59? I don't remember. But Arn Anderson turned one of those ages this week. My friend put, well, he's only 58 or 59. Again, I don't remember which one I put. And I was like, yeah, but you got to think about it. So he started wrestling about 10 years after Flair, but he's been balding since his mid-20s. So he is always, and you know they had the wrestler bodies. He's always looked considerably older than he is.
Right. Yeah, and that's also the thing with Bobby Heenan, is he was 71 years old when he passed away, and you know people, I think, just kind of don't always thought of him as older than he really was, and I think a lot of that just has to do with the fact that he had this white hair and looked older.
It's true. That is absolutely true. It's just funny. Like Arn Anderson, it was like he could have kept wrestling. He probably had another 5 to 10 years in him, if not for the neck injury, which it actually it's kind of weird how technology advances. That neck injury is fairly repairable. He would have been out about 3 months and been back to wrestling.
Yeah, and it jacked up his left hand.
Yeah, because they didn't know how to fix it. Yeah, so they did a bunch of unnecessary surgeries, just because they didn't go after him or anything like that. It was a time where there was no products to fix what was wrong with him. So they were just trying to improve his quality of life. And they didn't know how to do it, and now it's commonplace. John Cena's had the same injury, because he didn't need the neck fusion surgery. It was something different. It's kind of like a pinched nerve in your neck, but it would cause his leg to go numb, arm to go numb. And it was the same thing that John Cena had. And John Cena was out months?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just kind of weird. But I consider him one of the best talents wrestling's ever seen. You see how big he was, but he was very agile. He moved around the ring, always in the right spots. Innovated a lot of the moves. The gourd buster, which was the reverse suplex, the spine buster. Well, he was the first American really to use it as a finisher, and so shout out to probably our collective favorite wrestler, Arn Anderson.
Yeah, absolutely, and he worked with the greatest manager of all time, Bobby the Brain Heenan, who we will miss. He's Bobby's in heaven, hopefully, with Gorilla Monsoon, and I hope they're calling the legendary matches, because there's a lot of wrestlers up there, fortunately or unfortunately, and it is just hopefully their spirits are together. Yes. Yeah. Amen. So anything else we got before we get out of here for this week?
No. Just on another side note, they have a game in London between Baltimore and Jacksonville, and every player was on a knee.
Yes.
Shout out. Yeah, shout out to 45 there. That's it for wrestling today.
All right, so we're going to get out of here, and Floyd, it's time.
All right. Well, again, I'd like to congratulate Ryan Aaron on winning our contest. I can't wait to see the show with you. But just realize, in this world, unlike our contest, this life is a work. Don't forget to kick out at 2. See you next time around the ring.
drum, I get wicked.